Okay, we're back. Um, I would like to ask you about your friendship with Steve
Steve Wozniak.
Wozniak, one of the founders of the Apple computers, and your involvement with in during the '80s when nobody knew about computers at all. You had an experimental class in
Yeah.
Quaker Valley School.
No, Penn State. Here's what happened. Um, I had a master's degree already plus 15, but the next 15 credits you get past the master's, you would get like $1,000 more on the salary schedule. So I had 12, 15 plus now 12 more. I needed three more credits. So I took this class in Fortran from Penn State Beaver. And that's with where you had to use these punch cards, and you made one little mistake, and you had to do the whole thing all over again. I was in a class with mostly all men, and who they were all math majors. I'm not a math major, but I could recognize how much the computer uh, could do right away. I did little things like I was so proud of my little program that says, tell the have the computer say, follow the yellow brick road 100 times, and it could do that. And so I was really impressed that this it was like having my own little genie right there. And the last day of the class, we went from Saturday from 8 o'clock in the morning till 4:30. There was like a break for an hour for lunch. The last day of class, the professor didn't come back on time, and so a lot of people, those other people in my class, after 15 minutes they left. But then the professor came maybe 20 minutes later, and he was carrying all these boxes, three white boxes with the now familiar rainbow apple on it. And he was looking at his name was Don Caputo. He's a little Italian guy, and he's looking at it to the side. He says, "I don't know how it works. I don't even know how to put it together yet, but I do know it's going to change the world." And I heard that, and I ran home and I says, "I want to buy a computer."
Wow.
And my family thought I was real crazy, but I was determined, and I sold everything that I had to buy that first computer, which was almost $2,400. I had all kind of Native American things that I sold, but I never regretted it. And somebody said to me, "Aren't you sorry you didn't wait?" Because afterwards the computers came down. That 2400 was just for that Apple IIe. It wasn't for a monitor. I couldn't afford a monitor. We just had a 19-inch black and white TV and an RF modulator that would make it work. And he says, "Aren't you sorry you didn't wait?" No, because afterwards I was so far ahead of everybody that I won 10 computers from either my family or from my school over the years. So the first year that I went down there, the Steve Wozniak was the one that gave out the computer to the for winning that national award. And he loved all the things that I did because you had to go show what you were doing. And
Where was
he,
that?
that was in Washington D.C. 1985, I guess 80 for
Okay.
85, 86. So I think it would be 86. But then 85, 86, I don't know. Anyway, he says, "Oh, I want my son Jesse to come to your class." Well, Jesse was only in second grade then, and we became good friends after that because for the next couple years I would win first place again nationwide, 85, 86, 87. And then they said I couldn't enter anymore because nobody else had a chance. They said, so they gave me a trip to Hawaii, and they said you could enter after 2 years so that other people could win. And after those 2 years were up, I entered again. The first year was ancient Egypt. The second one was ancient Greece and Rome. The third one was China and Japan. And that one after was about writing women back into history, but using our computers to do it. And so Apple was very good to me. That they sent me to Boston, to Tampa, Florida, to Hawaii, San Francisco to write lesson plans for Apple. And that's how I got that award from the Smithsonian, because it was all through Apple. And oh, you have to hear this story because this is very important. Go back to the 1970s, and the Smithsonian had something going on called for teachers across America. They would take 20 teachers of how to read photographs so that they could be the person in their community that could save history. Well, I was a natural because my father was a photographer. We worked in the studio all the time. We knew how to do all the taking it from one bin to another bin, putting it on the dryer and everything like that. So there were 20 teachers all across America that were there in a class. So for the 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was a star because I knew everything that they were talking about before they even started, right? But on the fourth day, they put in the middle of nothing, they put on this play all about Edison, and they just kept saying all these negative things about Tesla, one after another, after another, after another. And here's 19 innocent people from Oregon, from Iowa, from everything that knew nothing about Tesla. And I could see myself bursting. I mean, my face got redder and redder. And finally, I jumped up and I said, "Stop this play." I said, "There's no way I would have you, all these teachers go back to their respective states and hear these negative things that you're saying about Tesla." Well, they were shocked, and that stopped the thing. And then we went to lunch or something like that. Then they took us over to the Smithsonian, where there was an enormous big exhibit about Edison, and that's why they were putting this on, because they got a lot of money from the Con Edison and everything. So the next day they gave out the awards, and the grades and the awards, whatever. Everybody, 19 A's and 1 B. I got the B, and I said it was the best B I ever earned. I loved it. So that was in the 70s. In 1990, I was a national honoree for the Smithsonian thing with the computers.
Beautiful story. And how your relationship developed after that?
With
Wozniak?
We stayed friends all the time. And so when I got the first iPhone, I still have my first iPhone, by the way. I saved
You have
it.
to show me that one.
Yeah, that I was at the Apple store in South Hills, and the fellow that waited on me was so excited because what they did for the employees then, if they sold one, they got one. So he was so happy that he got one too. And while I was still there, I said, "I want to see if this works." I sent an email to Woz, and he says, "You too." He says, "At first I was skeptical, but now I love it." So I have that email, that little message and everything that I still saved. And then throughout the years, we just stayed real good friends. For 1987, I think it was, yes, that's when they introduced the new GS, because I won all these Apple IIe's, 2C's. My mother had the first 2C. Then and she was using it to do databases, and
she didn't use it for the
Correct.
diary, huh?
Yeah. So, but anyway, so the GS now is going to come out, and that's where Nick came in. Where what happened is they were going to have about the U.S. Constitution being 200 years old, and they had this Richard Dreyfuss. I don't even know. You know who he is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, he was supposed to be the official that would be given the demonstration for Apple, but they said he was
That's
like,
amazing voice.
yeah. Well, something happened to him. He was like on drugs or something.
Oh my God.
They didn't tell me anything about this. I didn't know anything, but they wanted to see Nick. So Apple, the people in Washington D.C. and Apple. And so Nick came back, but he wasn't allowed to tell us anything. He always was lipped, close-lipped anyhow.
Mm.
So they take him real early in the morning. We're supposed to be there at 9 o'clock. It's Nick's birthday. He was 17 years old. It just happened to be like that on the July 1st, 1987. And so here we go, and there are all these kids in front of Nick, and he's demonstrating this new GS computer with that. Would you have signed a U.S. Constitution? And he's asking these kids all these your questions, and then he signs it at the end, Nick Bizic, and then when he put the dotting those I's, I thought I was going to faint for being so happy and stuff like that. And Dr. Sidley Marland, he used to be the superintendent of schools in Pittsburgh, but then he became the head of all the U.S. education. He says, Nick, this is one birthday you'll never forget. And that's true.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful story.
yeah.
I gotta go. I have a wedding
Wait, I
rehearsal.
didn't finish it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's when he went back to work for Apple. He sent me one of the first 10 that went off the line. And Nick has that down there in Texas.
One more question. I saw that you're using a lot of AI. I'm using personally a lot of AI, but it seems to me that all those kind of videos, those posters and images, they're generated by AI. They don't have any like kind of soul. They don't have a kind of. I mean, like I'm using it, but it's like a tool for me. I don't see any creativity, and I don't see actually the future in AI regarding the human touch. I don't know how. Maybe they need. What do you think about it?
I love it. I just love it. Everything about it I love.
I'm struggling so much with AI.
Yeah.
If I need to generate something,
Right.
it takes me so much time to explain what I want, and it's never like I want
Not
it.
what you really want.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I just find it absolutely amazing how helpful it has been, because not only can I generate the posters and everything, they do make mistakes. Like you see how they forgot number 16, which is okay, but
Tired.
you always
of
have
that.
to check them. But at the other hand, they are saving. I have all these here stories, and I tell it to chat, and they're saving it for me. So to me, that's
It's
a
a save
tremendous.
of time, but what it's going to be the cost in the future? That's my question.
Well, I got my hair fixed today, as you can
Mhm.
tell. Anyhow,
You look good.
the lady was down there telling me today. She says, "Mim, you know how hard I work for the football team." She's the president of the football thing, and she says, and they were going to have this here picnic, and she says, I generated a poster, saying about the picnic. She says, 3 ladies attacked me about how could you use AI to do this, blah blah blah. But you're taking all these people away to work. She says, I would have had to take 20 hours to make a little sign. She says, here, this sign was made for me. She says, I'm a volunteer. She says, I didn't do anything wrong, just trying. But people they have so many negative attitudes about the AI because they're afraid about people taking my jobs. But at the same time, and this is real important, when I told my mother and father about the computer and how much I loved it, they said, "Oh, there's going to lose all these jobs. Nobody's going to have a job." So you see that those jobs disappeared, but other jobs took its place. And
Mhm.
so that's what I'm hoping for with AI too.
We'll see. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to continue with this. I have so many questions that we didn't cover this time, but we're going to cover it next time.
All right.
Thank you so much. See you next time.
We did all right though, huh?
Bravo.